Guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our SwiftUI tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at ControlGroup. Now, what is ControlGroup? Well, ControlGroup is a view that allows you to group semantically similar controls together. Now, this is particularly useful, for example, if you are building some kind of web browser or a media player or something like that, where you have controls that are very similar semantically, like a play, rewind, fast forward, that kind of stuff, or a go back, go forward kinds of buttons. But that's not all you can put inside of a control group. Those are just two examples that you could use. In this example that I have here, we are going to be using a movie player example. So when we run the application, this is what we have. In the toolbar, we have 5 buttons, one for play/pause, one for going forward 30 seconds, one for going back 30 seconds, and then one for rewind and one for fast forward. These buttons don't really do anything. They don't play any media or anything like that, so don't worry about that. The only bit of functionality that any of these buttons have is the play button, where when you click it, it toggles and is playing state, and if it's true, then the play symbol will be a pause, will turn to a pause symbol, and then when it's false, it'll be the play symbol. In the center of our window, we have a table where we have a table of movies where we're displaying the movie's titles, director, and the release year for each movie. Pretty simple interface. However, we can do something slightly better with this interface. Right now, we just have the buttons in the toolbar as individual buttons. They're not grouped together in any way. Well, we can use ControlGroup to bring them together. And then the system will determine how to style that group if we don't specify it ourselves. All right. So how then do we use ControlGroup? Well, let's go up to the top of our toolbar here. Let's see. Okay, so here's our toolbar modifier. Above all of our buttons, we're going to say Control Group and open that up like that. Then we can have another curly brace like that. Everything gets auto-indented for us when we save this and we run it. So here is our application now. Visually, depending on the context that you're putting your control group in, it may or may not look any different. But we do have all of our buttons here. All right. But what if we change the style of our control group? Well, we have a few different styles for this. When we would use the control group style, And by default, it's automatic, so the system will determine how to style the control group based on the context of where it is and all of that sort of stuff. Compact menu. This will display our control group as a compact menu. So let's go ahead and use this style and take a look at what that looks like in our interface. We have a successful build, and here we are. So here we have a pop-up button. When we open up the pop-up button, there's all of our buttons again. All right. So that's what compact menu does. It'll just put everything into a little pop-up button. Let's now use menu and see what that looks like. Menu will do something very similar. Where again, we have a pop-up button. And all of our items are in that menu. This may or may not be useful depending on what you're doing, but in the case of a media player, compact menu and menu are not necessarily all that useful. Let's see here. And then we can say navigation. Now the navigation control group style is particularly useful if you're building, for example, a web browser with a forward and back button. But when we run this, we have a successful build. And here's our toolbar. All right, so we have all of our items here. Rewind, go back 30 seconds, play, fast forward 30 seconds, fast forward, and all of that. But they are styled slightly differently from everything else. All right. And then finally is the palette style. So we save this and we run our code again. Here's our application. Again, with palette, it brings it into a menu, but it's shown in sort of a palette style menu, which again isn't particularly useful if we're using a media player application. I generally tend to lean towards using the automatic style unless I absolutely have to change it. So most of the time you're okay just omitting the control group style modifier altogether. I just wanted to show you that it exists so you can change the style if you would like. If the automatic style may not do it for you in your specific use case, I wanted to show you that you can, in fact, change it to something a little bit more acceptable for your use case. All right, guys, so that pretty much does it for Control Group in SwiftUI. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.